Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's time to hop in mode, man. It's been a minute since we dropped a video. But this video is very important today, man. We're gonna be talking about a lot of good stuff, and the way life is. You know, the way life is with Jesus Christ. For the people that don't feel like there is a Jesus Christ, there is. There was. There is. But like I said, it's time to hop in mode. Peace and blessings to everybody. Shalom. Hope everybody having a good Thursday. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of the book of Exodus. Very, very, very powerful. And it's only like, we mainly going to be talking about the beginning, like the introduction of Moses and Aaron. Aaron's not really talked about a lot, but Aaron was Moses' prophet. But we're gonna be talking about this today because when I was reading this, I was like, it was just very exciting because like you really see the truth when you read the Bible, and it shows you what people do today, and that's how you just know it's the truth because it's evidence of in today's time. And that was the Bible was supposed to be thousands of years ago. So basically, in the beginning of Exodus, God really revealed himself. And I got all my notes right here. We good. But the first time God introduced himself to Moses was the first time God introduced his name, which is Jehovah. But the Jehovah is just an English translation of his Hebrew name Yahweh, which is the name I like to say, just because it's like the origin. I like to, keep it simple. But when he came to Moses, he said, "I'm the God of Abraham, Joseph, basically all of Joseph's descendants." And I got everything bookmarked too. I got my Bible app open. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know the verses and the chapters, and we're gonna go ahead and keep going. But starting off, hold on. It's kind of cold out here. I ain't gonna cap, but it's cool. It ain't that cold. Okay. Yep. So starting off with Exodus chapter 6, verse 3. "And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, unto Jacob, by the name God Almighty. But by my name Jehovah was I not known to them." So Jehovah just mean like father, basically. Jehovah and Yahweh are the same name. Just like Allah is the same name. It's just all translations in different languages. But when Moses first was introduced by God, he asked God, like, "Who are you?" And God just basically kept it simple and said, "I am who I am, the Lord," when he came on to Moses. Now, when he was getting ready to make Moses a god and Aaron a prophet, that's when he introduced his name, which is Jehovah. And like I said, Jehovah is an English translation of Yahweh, his Hebrew name, his original name. But to move on, this is how even God look at human beings even as gods. And the name God is just a title. That means the Most High. So when you hear somebody say they believe in God, be very careful of that. That's why I always say pray for discernment. Be very careful of that, because as God introduced his name, if God even said that he got a name, that means God is... Boy, I got scared. Boy, they opened the windows and stuff. But look, when God even introduced his name, that means God was like... that's just basically telling you that God is just a title. Even God called the devil a god, but he's a false god, though. But I hope I ain't talking too loud in these, and I'm outside and these people probably tripping me. But it's cool, though. I'm just gonna be a little bit more quieter. But I probably should go somewhere else, but it's cool. So look, let's continue on, because we really got to start from when. The reason why I say this book is powerful, because it was a king named Pharaoh that Moses was trying, and Aaron was trying to free their people from, the Israelites. Pharaoh was a very evil man, and God told Moses and Aaron ahead of time that he was going to harden his heart. But just because God made that decision doesn't mean that God was being evil or anything. The reason why God made that decision, because Pharaoh hardened his own heart first. So due to that, God just overwhelmed him with his heart being hardened, because that's what he wanted anyway. And that's the thing about God too. You know, God will give you what you want when you pray for things. He will give you, you ask for things, he will let you have a taste of what you want, just to see, you know, just to basically give you an example. Because be careful with what you ask for. You got to really be careful with what you ask for, because God will give you what you want. So Pharaoh kept hardening his own heart, so God just went ahead and overwhelmed him with his own power to basically demonstrate like he's the Lord, basically. But we're gonna start from Exodus 7 all the way to 12, because I gotta show y'all this is what people do when God shows miracles, and why people don't even see miracles nowadays a lot. But when you do, it really do be a miracle. But this is why God doesn't go by anybody that just asks him willingly and tell him to show his power. Because even though God shows miracles, people still don't believe in him, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and start from Exodus 7. And basically, I'm going to just be going over examples. So at Exodus 7, verse 1, God said, and the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. So he made Aaron his prophet, and he made Moses a god, basically. The one that was going to be leading the Israelites out of Egypt. But just because he made Moses a god, Moses still knew better not to try to take credit for any of that power or anything. You know, it belongs to the Lord. And he kept it very simple with the Israelites and Pharaoh. Just let them know, like, hey, this is God. I'm being led by him. Free my people. So, and then he also, in Exodus chapter 7, verse 3, he also told Moses and Aaron that he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart. But like I said, it wasn't just to harden his heart just to make him an evil person. Pharaoh was already evil. So the first time they went to Pharaoh, God turned Moses, I think it was Aaron rod into, yes, he turned Aaron rod into a snake. But in the Bible, it mentions how there were magicians, wise men, and sorcerers. Now, this is stuff that you hear about on TV or in books and stuff, like Harry Potter and things like that. But the Bible is supposed to be an ancient history book of humans back then in their life. And if you believe in something like this is telling you the truth, because what you see on TV and in books and stuff, it's made, the genre behind it is fantasy. But none of this stuff is really fantasy. That's the crazy part about it. None of this stuff is really fantasy. This stuff was around at a point in time when people were more in tune with their spirituality. You know, it wasn't no phones or no computers back then. It wasn't no recordings. It wasn't none of that. It was people was living life on earth, making things. You feel me? And that's why it's people think it's gonna be so hard to see the Antichrist at one time. But when he take over, it's gonna be really easy. We already able to watch TV at the same time at a certain time and sit there and listen to each other from state to state or from across the seas or anything. Like, got to think about that. It's going to be easy. People already is getting ready to accept the beast, the mark of the beast. They fascinated by the new technology. But when God turned Aaron's rod into a snake, the magicians also copied God and turned their rods into snakes. But God had his Aaron's snake swallow their snakes, basically just to show domination. But that was one of the first examples that God showed his, abilities to create life and things like that, or do miracles. Now, we really not supposed to be in tune with miracles. When it comes to reading the Bible and stuff, we're supposed to be in tune with God's character and what we're made to be, what type of person we're made to be, what we're supposed to be living this life in. But we all have a free will. And, people want to live out of their free will. They want to be free past their free will. And what basically is sin is death in the Bible. Sin equals death in the Bible. Sin brings all type of consequences that lead to death in the Bible. And the more we sin is the more we don't evolve in life. We actually really devolve, if that's a word. But look, we're gonna keep going. Cause we gotta everything. This is another example. Everything that the Lord was doing, these magicians were trying to do, they were able to do some. But when it started getting to the point where God started pulling out different type of insects or making different type of plagues, they could not copy him. Even the magicians went to Pharaoh and was like, this is God's power. We can't do nothing about this. What are we supposed to be able to do? We only could do so much by, and even in the Bible it says people was using dark arts and secrets. Same thing we see on TV, and they make TV shows about, they make TV shows about vampires and demon spawns and demon dogs and things like that. All that stuff is real, bro. They want you to think it's fake. That's why it's on TV. They putting the message right in your face. People are so asleep they don't see the truth is in plain sight. There's a whole book that people believe in and tell you that it's true, and we don't believe it's true, but it's sitting right in our face. Why do we don't believe something that's true, but we'll believe it if it's made into some fantasy? We need to put a genre behind it to believe that we were able to do miraculous things. That's the problem behind believing in the Bible too. The Bible literally says nothing is impossible in this life. We're able to be gods. We're able to make ourselves into gods. Well, not make ourselves into gods. That's what the devil wants us to think. We're able to make ourselves into false gods because we're literally nothing without the Almighty, the Most High, Yahweh, God. But in God's eyes, we are even gods. We're able to create life. We're able to have a creative mind, do different things on earth, make different things, And they even back then in the Bible, they was splicing genes. They was doing all type of crazy stuff to make new animals and make new life. Everything, but we cannot get a credit to ourselves. We can give only the accomplishment to ourselves, but without the accomplishment, we are nothing without God. This literally everything on this that been put on earth is because of God. So the reason of the fact that we even able to use these resources, eat, sleep, drink, wake up, go ahead and kiss our babies, go ahead and do anything in life is because of God. And that's what people are failing to realize. They feel like it's because of them. It's because they in the world. They feel like they're in the world by themselves. But you got to understand, we have a creator. We have a creator. We definitely have a creator. It doesn't make sense to not think we don't have a creator. Even our parents, how don't we think we have a creator when our parents created us? We gotta keep thinking back. Who created our parents? Who created their parents? Who created their parents? Who created their parents? You gotta keep thinking back. It's always gonna lead to two people. And that's what the devil is trying to do. He's trying to stop population. He's trying to stop. He don't want nobody to see heaven. He don't want nobody to get their blessings. He don't want nobody to see God's plan. That's why everything is going false and negative in a very negative way. The world is turning dark, and he's convincing people to think past their free will. There's nothing you can really do about that. I think I'm finna go inside, though. I don't like when people start coming over here when I'm talking and stuff. You gotta have discernment out here. The devil sends his agents any type of way, anywhere. Anybody can be eavesdropping on you, listening to you. You just gotta be smooth out here, though. Be low key. Don't get into no trouble. But I can show another example of the things God did. God made the river of blood, and nobody was able to drink from the waters. The magicians was also able to copy that, but Pharaoh, seeing that, he hardened his own heart. See, and it mentions that in Exodus 7, verse 22, and the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them as the Lord had said. He hardened his own heart because he felt like this is just a joke. If the magicians can do it, then who is this God that they keep talking about? And Pharaoh even, but God started to overwhelm the magicians and the sorcerers, and with their enchantments, they had no chance of what God was bringing out on them. And Pharaoh still was hardening his heart, and started to even try to trick God. Like, he'd be like, when something happened, he'd want to go away, so he'd apologize, and then when they apologize, he'd take back what he said. You got to think about that. People do that today. They trick you just to get something out of you. You got to be smooth. But we can continue on. Hello. It's the next part. What is this? I believe this is Exodus 8, verse 8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, and that they may do the sacrifice unto the Lord, because that's what Aaron and Moses kept telling Pharaoh, like, they let my people go into the wilderness so they could sacrifice unto our Lord Yahweh, Jehovah, like God keep asking us to do. And he's like, I'm gonna let your people go. But that's why he asked them to take away the frogs. And they asked him, all right, is you gonna keep your promise? And when is you gonna keep your promise? He said tomorrow, right? And he said that, all right, I'm gonna speak to God, and then we're gonna tell him to let the frogs out. So God let the frogs out, as Moses had said. But when Pharaoh saw that the frogs just went away, he hardened his heart again. He basically was like, nah, I was just playing. Like, there is no reason to believe that. Like, so, but God knows everything. God knew he was going to do this, so he was ready for that. He getting ready to unleash some more plagues after the frog. So, the next plague that God released was lice. He let lice into all of the everything on the earth except the Israelite things, the things that they owned. So after he did that, the magicians tried to copy them again and bring forth some lice, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't make insects. They couldn't do it, or they couldn't even free the people. So the magicians went to Pharaoh, and they was like, this is the finger of God, but he still hardened his heart. People do that all the time. They don't care what type of miracles they see. They don't care what's happening to them. They will rather keep being evil or listen to themselves to the point they don't want to listen to nobody. You got to be careful of those people. Have discernment, figure out who you're talking to, have good judgment. Don't act so upon on, like, what somebody did or who somebody is, though. You know you're supposed to still treat people equally. God said love your enemies and your neighbors and your friends and your mom and your daddy. Love everyone. Be at peace with everyone as much as you can. And that's what you really supposed to try to work on as a human being, because we go through so much as a human. You know, we ain't even got to go through stuff with each other. We can go through stuff with bills. We can go through stuff mentally, physically, you know, be irritated or anything, have depression or anything, you know, really like just feeling life. We really could be like feeling life, and we'll treat somebody else bad because of how we feeling. But we gotta learn to love each other no matter what, and, you know, get past that. Figure out how could we work on ourselves. That's the message right here. But it's cold outside. This is part 1. I'm gonna go ahead and continue on part 2. This is gonna be, I think I'm gonna make a whole what's it called? A whole playlist on the book of Exodus, because it's very powerful. The book of Genesis is very powerful too. But I'm trying to keep up with my word, continue reading my word, and I believe you should do the same. Stay on semen retention. You know, don't let nobody try to trick you out your grind. Don't let nobody try to steal your emotions, your heart. Guard your mind, your body, your soul. Don't let the devil attack you. And even if he is attacking you, defend yourself at all times. Don't let nobody consume your mind or anything. Keep your mental straight. But that's it for today, man. Peace and blessings to everybody. I hope everybody have a good Thursday. I'm going to probably drop another video today if I know it ain't going to get warmer outside, but shit, it's cold as a mug out here. I'm not going to lie. But I'm definitely going to try to drop another video today. But I'm finna definitely get this one uploaded. So I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.